Your loud voices gave me power to keep jumping." The crowd felt ashamed after hearing his words. The old frog slowly stepped forward and lowered his head sadly. "We were wrong," he admitted. "Our negative words could have destroyed you." Kiko smiled kindly and replied, "Words are powerful. They can either break someone or build someone." A tiny frog then asked an important question. What if Tito had heard encouragement instead of negativity? Suddenly, silence filled the forest again. Many frogs lowered their heads with guilt because they realized their words may have destroyed Tito's hope. The rain stopped, and sunlight slowly appeared through the clouds. A beautiful rainbow formed above the forest while everyone quietly thought about the lesson they had learned. The monkey suddenly broke the silence by shouting, "Who wants bananas?" Everyone burst into laughter again, and the sadness slowly became lighter. The frogs decided to continue their journey together. This time, however, they spoke differently. Whenever a frog became tired, the others encouraged him instead of criticizing him. "Keep going," one frog shouted during the journey. "You are stronger than you think," another encouraged. Slowly, confidence spread through the group like sunshine. One shy little frog who had always feared jumping finally crossed a huge rock after hearing everyone cheer for him. "I did it," he shouted proudly while the others celebrated. Kiko smiled warmly because he realized encouragement truly changes lives. Positive words gave strength while negative words stole hope. By evening, the frogs finally reached the giant pond they had been searching for. The pond sparkled beautifully under the sunset while fireflies danced above the water. The frogs celebrated with music, dancing, and funny games. The drummer bird returned and began playing extremely loud jungle music again. Kiko immediately covered his ears and shouted, "Not again." Bobo became too excited during the dancing competition and accidentally jumped straight into the pond with a giant splash. Everyone laughed so hard that some frogs rolled across the grass. Later that night, the frogs gathered around glowing mushrooms while the old frog stood up to speak. "Today I learned something important," he said quietly. "Sometimes we hurt others without realizing it." The younger frogs listened carefully while the squirrel nodded wisely nearby. "Our words should give people hope, not fear," the old frog continued. Kiko looked at the stars and silently thanked life for giving him another chance. He wished Tito had not lost hope so quickly. The squirrel sat beside him quietly and said, "Your story continues saving lives. Tito would be proud of that." Kiko smiled sadly. As the years passed, Kiko became older and wiser. Younger frogs admired him greatly because he always listened carefully before speaking. Whenever arguments happened, Kiko reminded everyone to think about the power of their words. Slowly, kindness became a tradition in the forest. Even the monkey learned an important lesson. One day he accidentally hurt another animal's feelings with a joke and immediately apologized. "I understand now," the monkey admitted. Funny words should make others laugh, not feel pain. Everyone appreciated his honesty. The drummer bird also changed after hearing Kiko's story. He started organizing jungle concerts where animals encouraged each other through music and friendship. One evening during a festival, Kiko stood before a huge crowd and shared his famous experience inside the pit once more. He explained how he believed the crowd was encouraging him and how that belief gave him strength to survive. The audience listened silently. Then Kiko said something unforgettable. Sometimes people survive simply because someone believed they could. Many animals wiped tears from their eyes after hearing those words because they realized encouragement truly saves lives. A small turtle later approached Kiko and confessed that he often felt slow and useless compared to others. Kiko smiled warmly and told him, "Never compare your journey with someone else's. Slow steps still move forward." The turtle never forgot those words. Years later, that same turtle became famous for completing the longest journey across the jungle because he never gave up. Whenever anyone praised him, the turtle would smile and say, "A kind word changed my life." The story of the two frogs slowly became more than just a story. It became a symbol of courage, hope, and kindness. Parents taught their children that negative words can destroy dreams while positive words can create miracles. Teachers encouraged students to support one another instead of laughing at mistakes. Slowly, the entire jungle became more united. Even during difficult times like storms and food shortages, the animals stayed strong by encouraging each other. One winter, the pond nearly dried up, and many frogs became afraid. But instead of panicking, they worked together while encouraging one another daily. Eventually, rain returned and filled the pond again. The frogs celebrated joyfully because they had survived through teamwork and hope. Kiko often repeated the same important lesson. The voice inside your head becomes stronger depending on the voices around you. Because of this lesson, the frogs became careful about how they treated others. They understood that one cruel sentence could remain in someone's heart forever. At the same time, one encouraging sentence could inspire someone for a lifetime. This truth changed how everyone spoke. One young frog who constantly failed at swimming almost quit trying, but Kiko encouraged him patiently every single day. Months later, that frog became one of the best swimmers in the pond. He proudly thanked Kiko for never giving up on him. The old pit slowly became a place where animals visited whenever they felt discouraged. They remembered how Kiko escaped through determination and belief. Some animals even called the pit of hope, because it taught such an important lesson. One day, a traveler from another jungle asked Kiko, "What is the secret to surviving difficult times?" Kiko smiled gently and answered, "Believe in yourself even when others doubt you, and never stop trying." Then he added, "And if possible, become the person who encourages others." The traveler thanked him deeply. As the sun set that evening, Kiko sat beside the pond surrounded by friends, laughter, and music. He felt grateful for every lesson life had taught him. The monkey accidentally slipped on his own banana peel and fell into the water again. Everyone laughed loudly while the monkey proudly claimed it was part of his dance routine. Kiko laughed harder than anyone else because he understood something important. Life will always include problems, mistakes, and difficult moments. But kindness, encouragement, friendship, and hope make those difficult moments easier to survive. The stars slowly filled the night sky while the animals rested peacefully near the pond. Soft music echoed through the forest. Kiko looked toward the old pit one final time and smiled quietly. What once seemed like the worst moment of his life had become the greatest lesson. The forest never forgot the story of the two frogs because it reminded everyone that words hold incredible power. Encouragement can save lives, while negativity can destroy hope. And so, the legend of Tito and Kiko continued spreading across generations, teaching animals and people everywhere to speak kindly, believe in themselves, never give up, and always encourage those who are struggling. Moral of the story: words are powerful and can either hurt or heal. Encouragement gives strength to people during hard times. Never give up because of negative opinions. Believe in yourself even when others doubt you. Kindness and support can completely change someone's life. Sometimes your greatest weakness can become your greatest strength.